Mr. Cox, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, sir? How you doing? It's
Man,
fine day.
yeah, good day, beautiful day. Weather, spring starting to show up a little bit. Feeling good, man.
Okay, we got a good show tonight. Uh, Something that you know a lot about, and I've been learning about, and it's a continuation from our show last week where we talked about the Foundation of Black Americans (FBA). So we're going to talk a little bit about one of the founders of that organization, and I'll let you start by saying his name and all the other stuff we got to get out the way this today.
Yeah,
So
definitely, man. This is a good show, man. Tariq Nasheed, man, who is a good brother, man. He's trying to do the right thing, and we're gonna discuss it a little bit today. But before we get to that, man, look, hit that subscribe button, man. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. We need y'all's help, man. So go ahead and hit that button for us, man. We put all of our content up on YouTube basically the day after our show. I put up everything on social media, so we on X and Spoutable. And if you got any suggestions, recommendations, shoot us an email at gentsmakingsense at yahoo.com. Our social media handles are gentsms at gentsms, both on Spoutable and X. Let's do it.
okay, uh, I usually have my do it now or we'll hunt you down, but I can't find it right now. So let's blame the producer on that. Okay.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, so yeah, let's go ahead and try to get started here. And what I'm gonna do is put up this slide here, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about this special guest. His name is Tariq
Yeah,
Nasheed.
Tariq Nasheed.
Tariq Nasheed. They listed him as an American maker and producer
Yep.
and an internet personality. The film that he's most known for is Hidden Colors,
Mm-hmm.
the series, where he commentates and promotes conspiracy theories about social media. He was born in Detroit, Michigan, but was mostly raised in Birmingham, Alabama. He moved to LA in 1991 and began a career as a rapper as K Flex before transitioning into filmmaking and everything. Many of his dating books give instruction on how to be a pickup artist. So he also wrote books about being a pickup artist. In 2023, Nasheed opened the Hidden History Museum in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the museum features current and historical Black figures. I'm sorry. He also was the lead singer in the R&B group Mink Slide, which debuted in 2018. Their first album, Egyptian Musk, debuted at number 12 on the Billboard R&B album chart. He has a controversial side. He's known online on his commentary for race, and he was one of the founders of proponent founders of Foundation of Black American (FBA). His ideology and movement are founded, which is defined as any person classified as a black who can trace their bloodline lineage back to the American system of slavery to be designated as an FBA. At least one parent must come from the non-immigrant background. So that's the crux of FBA, that your bloodline or your lineage got to be traced all the way back to the American slavery system. And we talked about that a lot last week. He's also known for uh, uh, the term of bed witch, which was used back in slavery, and it says that's a Negro mentality where black women lay down with white men. And also, he talked about the emasculation of black men uh, by uh, uh, by calling them uh, uh, what was it? Uncocked nonsense. Oh, okay. Hold on just a second. I missed my place on there, said that they were raped back in slavery days to make them feel less than a man and everything. So those are some of the things. And one of the things that happened also I want to speak about is 2018 swatting incident in LA, where somebody called a SWAT team saying that he was holding his wife hostage and had beat her up. And that got a big SWAT team out to his house and everything. But they got that squared away. So that's a little bit about the our topic of the day. So want you to do you want to go into talking about him now, or do you want to let me say a little play a little tape and audio of him so some people can get some ideas?
Well, go ahead and play the audio, and then we'll chop it up a little bit afterwards.
Okay, so this audio, let me give you a little content before I turn it on. This audio is of a back in 2020. A group out of Atlanta funded a video, a campaign ad trying to get black men out to vote, because there's been a problem with black men getting out to vote. So they put together an ad and they say, well, okay, what get black men out? And they say strippers. Atlanta has a history of a strip club mentality, so they said it would get the men idea. And let's go ahead and hear it. And Mr. Tariq has some choice words about that, and we'll talk about that on the other side. Okay.
Yep.
There's one way to get out the vote: have strippers tell people to cast their ballots. NPR's Juana Summers reports on a public service announcement.
A dancer in white knee-high lace-up boots walks away from the camera and toward a silver pole. She grabs the pole with one hand. The beat drops. An assortment of dancers perform pole tricks, one after the other, sometimes together. This is a different kind of public service announcement.
Did we get your attention? Good. So, you're really not going to vote?
You know it's more than just the president on the ballot, right?
Those were a couple of the dancers featured in the video from director Angela Barnes. She's from Atlanta and said that she was specifically targeting black men there, which led her to pick this approach.
Atlanta has a strip club culture. People go out and go on dates at strip clubs. People get married and have funerals at strip clubs. You know, people don't go there just to see like naked people. You go there for the vibe.
Barnes said that she and producer Paul Fox, who largely paid for the video themselves along with some crowdsourced fundraising, wanted to make this PSA to fill a gap in traditional get out the vote messaging.
We felt that black men in general are not really, paid attention to by most elected officials. Black people in general are taken for granted, I think, and ignored in politics.
Black Americans are one of the Democratic Party's most loyal constituencies. But when it comes to who turns out to vote, there is a gap between black men and black women. The Pew Research Center estimated that in 2016, 54% of eligible black men said they had voted. Meanwhile, 64% of eligible black women said that they had voted. And that represents a much larger gender gap than for their white or Hispanic counterparts. Mondale Robinson is the founder of the Black Male Voter Project, and he consulted on this video. He said that the ad is effective because it speaks to issues that black men in the state care about, and it does so in a culturally relevant way. He also pushed back against critics who have said the video is too sexual or degrading to the black men that it's trying to reach.
If LeBron James had on a Lakers jerseys talking politics right now, no one is going to say anything. So if they have a problem with sisters, dancing, talking about issues that are important, then your real problem is not with the issues or the sisters talking about the issues. It's something that's deeply embedded in you about what is considered decent work and not decent work.
This video doesn't advocate for any party or any specific politician. Instead, the dancers talk about the impact of down ballot votes. The issues mentioned in the ad draw from a series of conversations that Robinson spearheaded with black men across the state of Georgia.
Want trades and coding taught in our schools?
Then vote for the school boards that will prepare us for the job market.
Want to end cash bail? Well, then vote for the sheriffs and county officials that feel the same way you do.
Barnes described herself as progressive, but said that the video was intentionally not partisan. She said that people, and particularly Black men, don't like being told who or what to vote for. Instead, she wanted to keep the focus on the issues.
If they matter to you, then don't let other people decide who's going to run your community. Get your booty to the poll.
All right, there you go. We're going to talk about that first, and then we'll bring up the video because, in my opinion, the video has more weight to it than this right here. This is a novelty, but this is something that you and I have been talking about the whole time. We've been podcasting is be careful who you let be your spokespeople and everything. So tell me what you think about that, and then after you tell me what you think about that soundbite, who is Tariq Nasheed and his significance? Can you explain that to our audience? You muted.
Of course.
Okay,
I'm not going to say much about the video, man, because I mean it's disgusting. I don't care how they try to put it up there and say this news, and that it has some type of significance to our community. It doesn't. There used to be a time in this country where Black folks understood that there was an underground or a behind the door scene, just like every other community, but it stayed behind it. And videos like this, it just bring that out in the open and gives additional ammunition to people who don't want to see us succeed to use against us. If we have to degrade our women and bring them out in skimpy clothes and showing their bodies in order for us to get people to the polls, then I'm not sure we really need those people's vote. That's how I feel about that. As far as Tariq, I mean, I just recently, started looking into him, and you read a lot of stuff about him. But what I like to talk about with him is I agree with his concept on FBAs. And the reality is that, and I've been talking about this for probably the last year, is that Black Americans, we are very inclusive. We constantly bring people into our community, and we allow people who are not us to determine what our community does and doesn't do. What Tariq is saying is that, look, Black people who have lineage in this country to slavery, we need to stick together for our issues and take care of things that are associated with Black people. Anybody else that wants to come to the table, fine. We can sit down at the table and we can have equal partnerships in what we want to happen. But what's happened over the last 100 years, for the most part in this country, is Black people have taken the majority of the blunt, the beatings and the violence in this country, and everything that we fought for, our ancestors fought for to get passed, laws, rules. Other people have come in this country and used it. A lot of folks don't realize that prior to the Civil Rights Bill, this country did not want people from Eastern Europe, African countries, Spanish countries. They did not want people who didn't have white skin. The Civil Rights movement, created and developed by Black people, opened the doors up and said, no, we can bring in more people from what the United States considered dirty or bad countries. A lot of the Indian people who are here came here based upon that. A lot of the Africans that are here right now came in based upon that civil rights movement. What Tariq has said before is we need to start taking ownership of that and stop allowing people to steal and to take our accomplishments and try to turn them into theirs. And one of the things that he's talking about right now is he's doing a documentary on hip hop, because you got the Puerto Ricans and Jamaicans running around here talking about rap was started by them, which is insane. But because we don't have representation and because we don't start putting people down in their place when they make these ridiculous comments, people think they can do it. And so what Tariq is saying is that the FBA's black folks need to say, you know what, we're going to create an organization where when people go against us and disrespect us, then we're going to ensure that they pay the price. Every other organization in this country does that. You got the ADL. Anybody says anything negative about the Jewish people, the ADL is smashing. You got Spanish organizations, Italian organizations, African organizations. Everybody is out to defend their reputation, except for Black Americans. We're the ones who, we got the president of the United States is basically saying that everything bad that happens in the United States is because of Black people. And there's no consequences to that. Nobody comes out and says that's ridiculous. No one comes out and says Black people contribute to this country, nothing. So what Tariq is talking about is that's what we need to start doing. Stop allowing people to steal our history, to steal our culture, to steal, music. Really, Black folks invented most of the music that's out there today. It came from us, but people try to take it. And what Tariq is saying from an FBI standpoint is we're not going to allow that to happen. We're going to create movies, YouTube channels that fight back against people like that. And let me give you one more example. One of the things that he's kind of going up against right now is, I don't know if you ever heard of this podcast called Fresh and Fit.
No, I haven't.
Well, Fresh and Fit is a podcast, right? And they basically bring on a bunch of OnlyFans girls and they just beat them up, essentially, But the reality is that one of the guys is a Sudanese guy, right? Who came to the United States. His name is not Myron. His name is Myron something. Well, that's not your Sudanese name. Why'd you change your name to a predominantly Black name? Because you wanted to come into the United States. You wanted to culture vulture, steal our culture, make money off of it, and then you want to talk mess about it. So Tariq is going after him and basically is like, look, man, you're from Sudan. You can't come over here and talk about what Black people are or aren't doing when Sudan is a freaking disaster right now. So I know I got off topic, but that's what the FBA is. And I think that more Black people should look at it. And we need to go ahead.
No, I don't think you got off topic. I think all the stuff you're saying is relevant to what I'm trying to say is, as a young man, we want to know who this young man is,
yes, and
what his significance can be to America and to Black America in specifically.
Yeah.
To your point, when you talked about the Jewish people, you can see what's going on in America just today. They're willing to throw people out of the country just because Jewish people feel unsafe on college campus. I mean, been there, done that.
Yep.
And still do it sometimes, Sure. So, and they won't willing to throw nobody out of the country. And they saying this young man is part of the terrorist group. And on TV, so far, I have not heard that the Ku Klux Klan and white national groups are terrorist groups too, terrorizing Black people in general.
Yeah.
So I haven't heard nobody articulate that at all. While they saying that these Jewish people feel unsafe on campus. I don't know how long black people have been felt unsafe on campuses and stuff.
Well, so that's my point. Is that I don't have anything against any of these organizations that are out defending their people. What I have a problem with is you telling me what I can't defend my people. Right. That we can't defend ourselves. That we're supposed to just accept verbal violence, physical violence to Black people in this country, while everybody else benefits from the struggles that Black people fought for to get in this country. And that's the bottom line. I mean, like you said, the Ku Klux Klan has been a terrorist organization in this country for over 100 years, right? And you got to take them to court, potentially lose or win, depending on where you go to take them to court to win anything. We know they're a terrorist organization. We know they terrorized Black people for 100 years. Right. And they're not considered a terrorist organization. They're not demonetized as far as making money.
And it's so back and forth. on a lot of Democratic administrations, presidential administrations, the Ku Klux Klan and white nationalist groups are put on the terror list. But as soon as a Republican president get in office, they take them off the terrorist list.
Sure.
And that's the back and forth that we have pretty much and stuff. So yeah, everything that you said, though it didn't go directly to what we were talking about, it's a part of the whole picture that I'm trying to get of Tariq, because ever since you brought it up last week, I've been like, I don't know this guy. Let me see if I can get to know who he is, because we need up and coming leaders. When
I think what we need, and I think Tariq is a smart man, and I like what he's doing, but I would caution Black people is that we got to stop creating these messiahs.
Yeah, and I'm not looking at him as a messiah.
There needs to be I'm just saying there needs to be multiple
exactly.
people like him.
He's another voice that's different from what we got out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like Malcolm X was different from Martin Luther King.
Yep.
Tariq is a different voice coming from a different perspective.
Yep.
So we need to know who he is. I'm not no by no way I'm saying hold him up to be the great leader or nothing like that. Because as we heard and seen, he has a little baggage with him. But let's look at this video now of him talking about reparations, and that always get white people in a tizzy when he start talking about reparations and stuff, because they think they got to give away something free, you know. So let me see if I can get to this video. Give me a little time here, and I'll get there. You know. Okay, I think I'm ready to get back there. Okay, there we go.
Much respect to all the brothers and sisters here in the Bay Area. First of all, I want to make 3 quick points about reparations and then let our other brothers and sisters speak. First thing, we have to understand we have to focus and keep the emphasis on it being lineage based. The problem is we see a lot of trick bag language being mixed into it, where it opens the floor for other groups to come in and undermine us. Reparations in the form of lineage-based compensation is not a compensation for racism. Let's be very clear. If we open the door to racism, Hispanics can come in, Asians can come in, Middle Eastern people can come in, it will become affirmative action again, where we are left holding the crumbs and everybody else is holding the cake. So we have to focus on the lineage-based reparations, especially the agreement that our foundational Black American lineage accrued out here in California. In California, this was a state that allowed slavery. People say that this wasn't a slave state. There was informal slavery here. The only reason they made it a technicality to make slavery illegal in California, they didn't want the white wealthy slave owners back east coming here getting all the prime real estate. They had slavery out here. Our foundational Black American brothers and sisters and our ancestors were out here working enslaved. San Bernardino, California was a slave colony. There were slave colonies here around the Bay Area. We couldn't get out of slavery because they made it illegal for Black people to testify against white people. That's how they trick-bagged us up into slavery here. We have to be compensated for that. The second thing is we can't include all of these other groups with our reparations package. We hear a lot of Black and Native American. We hear a lot of Black and brown. That won't work either. All of these other groups, they've been compensated. Every single group besides Foundation of Black Americans has been compensated. White slave owners were compensated. White immigrants in the 1800s were compensated with the Homestead Act.
Okay. Thank you so much for your comments this morning. Sandra. And next.
There we go. Like I said, all this comes back around to the same things that we talked about last week, and we've been talking about ongoing ever since we started the podcast about taking care of us and stop letting people get on our train and start getting the benefits that we deserve. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I agree 110% with what Tariq said at that event. That has been the problem with Black people in the United States, is that we have always been so inclusive because we didn't want other people to have to suffer and go through what we went through in this country to get our freedom. So we've allowed other people to come into our community, Spanish people, African people, you know, in a lot of cases, white folks come in and teach them things that we created. Like you got rappers out here, white rappers out here doing rap music because we allowed them to come into our community. You got Jamaicans that come up here, you know, Rastafarian brothers, and come into New York City, and all of a sudden you talking about you invented rap. Really? How come there's no rappers in Jamaica now? If you created rap, why aren't they back in Jamaica singing rap music? They're not. Same thing with Puerto Rico. If Puerto Ricans were part of developing rap, why aren't they? You got a bunch of popular Puerto Rican rappers in Puerto Rico. You don't. You know, you got dudes like Fat Joe. Well, okay, that's not a Puerto Rican name. So why did you call yourself Fat Joe when you came up here? Because you wanted to appeal to Black people. You wanted to appeal to the real hip hop community. You know, Busta Rhymes is another one. Come on, man. You come up here, you give yourself names that'll make you appeal to our community, and then you get to a certain point, and it's like, oh, well, we're the ones who created rap. Please, are you kidding me? And it's not just with rap, it's with other stuff, things that Black people had a substantial part of building in this country. The infrastructure. You know, you got people out there now saying, oh, well, Native Americans and Chinese, and they built the infrastructure. Really? Come on.
Yeah.
So I agree with that part of the FBA. And then let me go back and say one thing about, because, you know, some of the things that you were mentioning about him. I'm not here to protect him. I will say that he's made mistakes in his life, but I will say this, and I think Black people need to stop doing this, is that we are so hard on our people when it comes to them speaking. Nobody else does that. No other race of people does that. We got, like I said, we got the president of the United States, who's a white man, who gets up here and denigrates Black people, denigrates immigrants, denigrates everybody in the country.
And he's a felon.
But they make him president of the United States. You know, we can find dirt on anybody. No man is clear of dirt. So, yeah, people can go out and say, oh, well, Tariq said this and Tariq said that. But he's also said this and this. They try to do the same thing to Malcolm X.
Right.
You know, Malcolm X, oh, he's a radical and you know, people shouldn't listen to him. Well, everything that Malcolm X said in the 50s and 60s is true today.
Yeah.
So we got to stop allowing outsiders to come into our community and tell us who we should allow to speak on our behalf.
And as you can see, you went right into our next question.
Right.
Well, and that does the controversy that surround him negate his potential as important as his importance to the Black movement. Not his leadership, just his voice. Because as you can see, when he spoke, he has a voice and he has an opinion that a lot of people would agree upon, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just talking about this. No, absolutely not. Again, I'm a chicken and bones guy. So I could eat the chicken and spit out the bones. That's how I look at a lot of people. Black people are not monolithic. We're completely different. We go across the entire spectrum. But as long as everybody's working together to get us to where we need to be, I'm willing to work with. So I'm willing to work with Tariq, because I think he's intelligent. I think some of the things he's saying are important to our community. I think that more Black men need to step up into his lane so that we can really push this message about Black independence. Mental mind independence. That's what I'm talking about, is breaking our minds away from feeling like we have to be associated with other groups when it comes to getting things for our community.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm just hoping that we don't let his voice be heard because of what people think about some of the things he said. If controversial thoughts and speeches dictated if a person should be listened to or not, we wouldn't have very many supposedly leaders in this world, because everybody has a position that somebody doesn't like. I don't care how good you think your position is, somebody's not going to like your position, and they're going to try to use a lot of it against you and stuff. But I just want to make sure that we see this young man in his best light and what he has to say about Black America and how we should be seen in the future, now and in the future. Do you have any last thoughts on our topic for today?
Yeah, I would just say that, I agree with you 100%. And I'll use an example, and, this may not go over well, but, the brother Kevin Samuels that passed away a couple of years ago, I see him as similar. All these people were out here talking about Kevin Samuels and berating him and saying he was a terrible man and blah, blah, blah. But everything that he was talking about is happening right now in our community. Look at what our women are out here doing. Look at our marriage rate within the Black community. Look at our divorce rate within the Black community. Look at our appearance in the Black community. And I always tell people, you want to know what the world or what the market in the United States thinks of you, watch commercials. Commercials tell you what the people who are in charge that make movies, documentaries, commercials feel about you. Look at commercials. Look at what our women look like on commercials. Listen to how loud and outrageous some of our women are on commercials. Look at the weight for women that we see on commercials when it comes to Black women. That's what people think of you.
Yeah.
So if you're not willing to change that image about yourself, then we're never going to get to where we need to be. So God bless Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, brother. But Tariq Nasheed, I support you. I support you as much as possible. I will say to Black men, there are 25 million of us. There's 50 million Black people in this country. If we ever want to build an organization where we can hold people accountable to us, this is the start.
Well, the thing is, and I've always said this, Black people got closed mind about certain things, and not just Black people. All people have closed minds about certain things. But when you bring up the Nation of Islam, Black people, some Black people cringe. Oh my God! I've been to see brother Farrakhan.
Yep.
I've been to see him because I want to know. I wanted to experience what his service was like and how they carried themselves and everything. A matter of fact, when I went in, you got to show an ID, and I foolishly showed him my military ID, and I found the guy at the door, called the security guy over, and they looked at my ID, they looked at me, and they said, "How you doing, brother?" I said, "I'm doing great. I just want to come hear the word." And he said, "Let him in," but that's how they carry themselves. And I've always liked the way they have discipline and they carry themselves. So I'm open to listening to what they have to say. And that's what I want for this young man. I want people to be open to hear what he has to say. I ain't say you gotta love him. I ain't saying you gotta like him. Just listen to what he gotta say. Let him be heard also.
Yeah, and I mean that's great, and I mean I don't have a lot to add to that, but my point is that we need to. Why can't we be a chicken and bones community? You don't have to like everything that the Nation of Islam does, but you can't challenge the fact that what they're trying to do is to build up our community. You can't challenge that. You may not like everything they say. Well, there's a lot of people that get on television every day, a lot of our politicians that get on TV and say things that I don't like. But there are things that some of them say that I say I agree with. We should be treating the Nation of Islam like that. We should be treating Tariq Nasheed like that. We should be treating Dr. Umar, even though Dr. Umar's got a lot of stuff about him that's questionable, he does say some things that are positive. And my point is, take the good with the bad and help build our community.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need to do. That's that Messiah attitude that I say we need to get rid of. We think that we can only have one person leading us. And we know what typically happens in this country when there's one leader.
Yeah.
That person normally doesn't make it to the end of their life.
He really doesn't. They make sure they get rid of him.
Right. So we need to have multiple people out there, multi-pronged attack. And I, I like what I think I've talked about on here is, there's a reason why the stuff that's pumped into our community is pumped into our community. There are people that make money off of our dysfunction. There are people that make money off the fact that a black man is not married to a black woman. Why? Because you got 2 apartments that are being paid for. 2 people are shopping, right? 2 people are going out getting clothes. You don't have a family.
Mm-hmm.
They make money off of us being separated. So I support black men that are out here doing the right thing and black men that are telling our young women, stop this.
Right.
So go ahead.
Right. No, I mean, that in a nutshell is what we're trying to do. And in today's environment, it's all hands on deck right now. If we're not at DEFCON 4 or 5, we need to be there, because it ain't no more it's going to be or we may be. We are.
Right.
We are in a very dire situation right now. And I said something today on our text thread where I said it just seems like we're in a Groundhog Day type thing, where you wake up every morning and there's something else as stupid as it was yesterday, and it just keep happening every day. And you keep saying, how crazy can this get? And I just don't see, and I wish I could see where people are fighting back from this man here, because we can say whatever we want to say. It's this one man that's controlling the narrative in the most powerful country in the world. And sometimes you just want to say, wake up. That movie Spike Lee had where he yells out in the middle of the campus, wake up. We need another moment like that where everything stops and somebody say, wake up. And I don't care about everybody else in America. I care about black people in America. Black people, you need to wake up. We need to start taking care of our kids. We need to start taking care of our community. We need to worry about how these people with suit and ties go to work, get a 6-figure salary, got the best health care in the world, but don't want you to have health care. We got to worry about that. We need to wake up, wake the fuck up. Maybe they'll understand it when I say it that way. I don't know, but that's just how I'm feeling right now. Every day that I look at Twitter, X, or whatever you call it, I done cut it off. I'm not looking at X no more. I know I'm advertising our site on there, but hopefully we'll take it off pretty soon. But every day I look at that. I look at YouTube. I look at Facebook. And our people are just posing for their birthdays. They're posing for funerals. They got their buddy's funeral on the. I mean, it's just wake up, people.
Well,
I see what's going on around you.
Well, you're right. The people do need to wake up and realize what's important. But the problem is that what I think our people have done is we've lost our, our internals, man. What we've always been as a people. Not just here in the United States, but everywhere that we've come from. We've lost that because you have people who are literally that will do anything on video because they think they're going to go viral and they're going to make money. There are people out there in our community and all over who think that there's a good chance that they're going to make their living off of YouTube. So they will say anything. They'll go on social media, TikTok, Instagram, post pictures of their body, derogatory pictures, disgusting pictures, because they think somebody's going to see them and then say, hey, let me put this person on TV. You know, our musicians, our hip hop artists, and stuff like that, and even the R&B artists, the stuff that they're wearing to award shows, when they open up their mouth and you listen to what's coming out of their mouth. I mean, it's insane. I mean, some of these young ladies out here, man, who are rapping, and the stuff that comes out of their mouth, you're like, really? And I'm saying to myself, what do you think is going to happen? You're not going to be a rapper into your 50s and 60s. What do you think is going to happen when that time is over and people get tired of you and you need to get married? What man do you think is going to come to you and want to be your husband? Mm-hmm. What man is winning wants to be with a girl like Sexy Red? I mean, I'm just being honest.
Yeah, a gold digger, right, a man that want to be taken care of,
right? Or Megan Thee Stallion, really?
Yeah.
I mean, what man that is winning wants to be with her? She's going to be stuck in the environment that she's in, which is a hip hop environment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I can see Megan a little bit better than Sexy Red, because Megan did go to college, got a degree from an HBCU. So there's somewhere in there's some substance to her. Maybe she'll come around.
But you got her, you got Cardi B. I mean, look at Cardi B, right?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, Cardi B was hot. Everybody was like, oh, she's good to go. Well, Cardi B got 2 children now. Her husband, her boyfriend left her. So she basically got 2 kids she's got to raise on her own.
Yeah.
The dude's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So she's basically a statistic. And they'll say, oh, well, Cardi B's rich. She can take care of the kids. Well, okay. We still know that single parent households, I don't care how much money you have, don't typically raise successful kids.
Yeah.
So
right. Okay, good conversation. I enjoyed this episode. Let's kind of go into next week's episode, which is something I really want to get into. I and I see it every day is I want the Democrats to either I was in the 01st in the Air Force basic training, and 01st I was saying was leave, follow, or get out the way. So I want the Democrats to leave, follow, or get out the way, because right now they're gonna have to lead. They're gonna have to show us how we can be better, but we got to do that for ourselves also. But they're our tool. They're there to be our tool to do our bidding, and they haven't did our bidding, and it's falling back on them now. Black people finally decided to punish them for not doing what they say they were going to do all these elections and stuff, so they're gonna have to live with that now. So, man, Saved by the Bell. I got somebody calling me in the middle of my podcast.
Make sure you tell them, man, when we get on, man, messing up our damn podcast.
I'm telling you, on the air, leave me alone. Yeah. So anyway, next week's episode is gonna be exciting. This week's episode, I learned a whole lot. Thank you for enlightening me to FBA and Foundation of Black Americans, and Tariq, brother Tariq. That's what we want to do on our site. We want to bring different ideas, different people. We want to highlight. I think that's something I want to do in the future, and I hope this is something you'd like to do also, is highlight different young leaders coming up and everything. We want to call them leaders, but we also want to say they are a part of the whole. Just like you said, we don't want one leader anymore, because they've shown that they'll get rid of one leader in a heartbeat. So, but we want a conglomerate of different ideas and different people with different ideas. That's what we want.
Yep.
And we're gonna keep bringing these fresh ideas and these fresh faces to y'all every week that we can. And we just need you to subscribe. We need you to comment. I got something else coming pretty soon. I'm going to be looking at merch pretty soon, t-shirts and coffee cups and all that stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna with the logo on it and everything. So just we're gonna keep going, whether you look at it or not. We're gonna keep going. So we're gonna bring it out there, and it's gonna be there for you. The other thing I want to advertise tonight is I think it's next month. I'll be in Atlanta to the iHeart Black Effect podcasting convention and everything. I hope to see some of my fellow podcasters out there, and maybe get to work with somebody and get our show put on a bigger platform. You know, I still feel a little different about producers and all this other stuff. I don't really want a whole lot of production. I just want backing, people to back what we're doing, because we want to keep it fresh. We want to keep it just like you're in the barbershop talking to your buddies. We don't want I think Suleiman do a great job of hosting, and I do a great job of interacting sometimes in there. So that's what we're looking forward to doing.
Hey, that's what it's about, man. We are, neither of us started this podcast for money. We started to try to get people like us, Black people who used to be out in the front before we got into this ridiculous so-called culture that everybody's chasing. Is to talk to just about basic topics, man, and that's what we want to do. So as I said earlier, man, we're trying to get up to 100 subscribers, man. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You get all our content. Check us out on social media, specifically Spoutable. As Tony said, we're going to eventually jump off Twitter, but Spoutable is a good site, man. Actually owned by a brother.
We got another site owned by a brother called Fanbase. Isaac Hayes Jr. owns that, and I just found that out. So
I'll take a look at that, man, and we can jump on there too, man. So
yeah, we're gonna do some different things. I'm just done with X, man. I'm really done with it. Every time I look at my phone, I got a X thing up there saying that Elon has said something or Trump has said something, and I don't even follow them.
No, because they streamline it. They cut off your followers, man.
Mm-hmm.
They keep throwing everything in your timeline. So yeah,
I've even blocked them.
Me too.
It still comes up. So that's something to think about.
Do it now, or I'll hunt you down. Smash like.
I found it, so do it now.
Looking good, man. All right, man. Well,
okay, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
Right.
This show